Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'll be going over how to save money. So I'll go through the process that I went through when I first started saving money. So I hope you find it helpful. So let's get into it here. So how to save money. So the first thing you're going to want to do is assess your current situation. So what exactly are you spending your money on? Next, we'll analyze spending habits, and this will be followed by creating a budget and savings goals for you. And then at the end of the month, what you want to do is review whether or not you met those goals. And if not, then why didn't you make them? What came up? Maybe it was some sort of expense. And then finally, I'll go over personal tips that worked for me specifically and that I found helpful. So let's assess the current situation. So what I've done is downloaded a template. I'll leave the link in the description below. And what you want to do here is put your total income here, so all the money you make. So I've got some sources here just to give an example. So like your salary, any side hustles you're doing, dividends, so any source of income, put that total here. And then you want to list all of your expenses below. So anything you've got, just categorize them. So utilities is like your electric bill, gas bill, all of that in one. Your phone bill, keep that separate. So any student loans you've got. And then they've got one that's called credit cards. I would split this up and so you know exactly what you're spending money on. So I'm just going to get rid of this. And let's say you spend money on, fuel, maybe oil change, just any other expense. Just make sure you list exactly what it's for. I'm just going to write other for now. Let's just say 150. So I've just created some fictitious numbers in there just to give you an idea. And you'll eventually come to this total. So your income less your expenses will give you your total savings for the month. And some people are actually surprised at what this number is when they actually put their information in. So some people will be really close to their income. They'll be saving, let's say, like $50, $100. So really not much at all. But it's something. Some people are even negative. They spend more than they can afford. And that's why they end up having a lot of debt, which isn't good. This shouldn't take you long. You should have all the information, off your bank's website, your statements, your credit card statements. So after you've filled out all this information, we can move on to step 2. Moving on to part 2. So you've listed all your expenses, everything you can think of. So what you want to do now is go through each category. For some of you, this may be eye-opening because you didn't realize how much money you were spending on certain things like coffee, the gym, buying clothing, online shopping. So go through each category and decide for yourself whether you feel like you're spending too much. So for your rent, would it make more sense to live with a roommate or in a different area? Are you eating out too much? Are you paying for a gym membership you don't use? So go through each item and use your own judgment and see whether or not, you're spending too much in one area and where you can find potential savings. Okay, so you've gone through the evaluation and you've analyzed each and every line and you think you can save in certain areas. So maybe you won't go to Starbucks every day. Maybe you'll just drink the free coffee at work, or you'll switch gyms. Maybe get a roommate, eat out less, whatever the case. what we'll do now is set a budget and a savings goal. So let's say our savings goal for the month is $500 and for the year $5,000. That's what we want to save. So even though $500 each month would equal $6,000 for the year, you want to leave yourself a little bit of leeway. And the reason for that is that you can have unexpected expenses, and that's usually what happens. So, you might have an issue with your car, your pet may need something, it could be some kind of emergency. You just never know. And that's kind of what happened to me when I first started saving, where I'd save for a few months and then something would happen. Like something would happen with my car. And I don't want anyone to get discouraged by that. These things happen. They're kind of out of your control. Just stick with it. And before you know it, you'll be saving and you won't be living paycheck to paycheck. So what I've done here is I've created a budget. I just typed this in and predicted for the month what I'll be spending in these categories. And then this will be your actual amounts incurred. So what you actually spend during the month. So at the end of the month, you want to just fill this in and compare it with this. And then you'll see if you hit your savings goal. And in this spreadsheet, they actually divide the money up how you want it. So 40% for savings, 25% for emergency fund, 20% for debt, and then maybe other goals. So everyone will have a different percentage to whatever they want. I would suggest strongly that if you do have debt, especially credit card debt or loans, pay those off immediately or as much as you can, because some of the interest rates on especially credit cards is really high. So it doesn't make sense to put money into, let's say, a checking or savings account when you have such high debt. So pay that off immediately. That would be my advice to anyone. And then finally, let's just move straight on to step 4, review. So at the end of the month, you compare your budget to your actual and then see if you were able to hit $500. Did you save more or less? And then if it was less, then what happened? So go through the expenses and see, did something come up? Did you go out more than you thought? Did you eat out too many times? So just go through it and then you'll get a better idea of what's realistic and if you need to cut something out. Finally, I just want to go over my personal experience with saving money and some helpful tips for you. So the first one is buy what you can actually afford. Don't buy things that when the payment comes due at the end of the month, you're not going to be able to pay it off. Don't just put things on your credit card and pay high interest rates. Interest is not your friend when you're paying it. So the second thing is automate your savings. So as soon as you get paid, whenever the money enters your bank account, automatically put it directly into a savings. You can set that up monthly. So if you want to save $500, send $500 automatically. Some people refer to this as paying yourself first. And it's actually really helpful because you basically consider that money is gone, so you don't have it to spend. Alright, so the next tip, and this one was especially big for me, was that I found out that I eat out very frequently and even sometimes multiple times a day. So what I did was start eating out less, and that really saved a lot of money for me because it really adds up, especially if you don't pack a lunch and you eat out at work and then you eat out, you go for dinner. So that one really saved a lot of money, and I think a lot of people are in that same position where they eat out quite frequently. Another tip for saving money for me was just buying unnecessary items such as clothes and shoes. Like I have things in my closet that I don't ever wear, and I've got shoes that I bought that I don't wear. Some I've never even worn before. Maybe some of you have those red pair of shoes that everyone was wearing, but you no longer wear. Moving on, another tip is that if you have a cashback credit card, so let's say you make monthly payments for your phone bill or your electric bill, and you've got that coming straight out of your account, what you can do is put that on your credit card and you'll get a monthly reward back. So it can range from 1% to as high as 5% I've seen on certain credit cards. So that's always a helpful tip, where you'll just get free money back for things you already buy. Another helpful tip is splitting costs. So if you don't want to get rid of Netflix and you have Spotify and Disney Plus, things like that, what you can do is split the cost between, a friend, your cousin, anyone that's willing and that shares that same service. So two people can be on the same account. So you can split that cost right in the middle. And that's kind of what I do right now. Another way to save money is to negotiate your bills. So especially with your phone bill, I remember for the longest time my phone bill was like $100. I just called them one day and they dropped it by almost $30. So now I pay $70, which is still pretty high, but I get everything that I want, unlimited data, and all it required was me phoning them and asking for a reduction, and it worked out because I've been a customer for so long. So something you might not expect, and all it takes is a simple phone call. Okay, so that's all the tips I've got for you in this video. I hope you found it helpful. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.